Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Well, that was fun, wasn't it, Res fans? Renix and now Buchanan injured.
NEREX UK.
All things Revolution from a UK perspective.
Hello everybody, my name is Mike and welcome back to the NEREX UK podcast, all things Revolution from a UK perspective. And I just want to start off today's episode by apologising that I missed last week's podcast. Purely I just felt really under the weather. I couldn't basically get through a sentence without coughing. And I just thought that this is going to be an absolute nightmare for me to one, record and then two, to edit as well. So I just decided against it. So we're not going to be talking about the Toronto game in this episode because there's no point looking back that far. As always with my content, there's always links to other people's content that do Revolution podcasts or blogs or something along those lines. They're in the description. So if you do want to go and find a write-up or a podcast on the Toronto game, then please be sure to go and check out some of the links in the description down below. Obviously, we lost 3-2. It wasn't the best performance. Garcia got 2 goals. There was a controversial moment in that game as well. But even off the back of that, all I'm going to say is the Revolution didn't deserve to win the game. Maybe a point, but I can't really say that. But on the back of the performance, that we probably deserved to get much more than what we did from the game, which was nothing. But we've got the Cincinnati game to talk about, so that's going to be interesting. We're then going to dive into the world of Revolution and see if there's any news coming out of the camp in terms of transfers or anything that's happening in and around the camp. And then obviously we're looking forward to the game against Minnesota United. So, Cincinnati, the inaugural game that they joined us at Gillette Stadium in the 2019 season, started with an absolute whimper. 2-0 loss at home to the new franchise. I don't know. I mean, I will say that probably I've been properly following the Revolution for 4 seasons now. It's probably like, four and a half. I'll probably say because I did join halfway through a season. But yeah, definitely for 4 seasons straight now, I follow the Revolution, trying to watch as much and take in as much Revolution content as I possibly can. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. So we've seen bigger defeats than that. But I don't know if I can honestly put my hand on my heart and say that I've been more embarrassed to be a Revolution fan than off the back of that performance. Because I've said this numerous times before. But for me, if we lose a match, and it is purely down to the fact that the other team is better than us because of quality or whatever it is in the day, as long as the players have left it all on that pitch and given their all for that 90 minutes, then you can take that. As a fan, you can take that. We're not going to go, obviously, a season and be undefeated. That's not going to happen. We've got to be realistic here. There are a lot of teams that are better than us in the MLS, and that's just a fact. But for our players to go out there and put on a performance of that level it's just embarrassing. And this, I'm going to try and keep this as structured as I can today. But, I've got a feeling that it's going to go off in tangents because I'm going to try and not make it a full rant because, there's no one wants to listen to one man rant for half an hour. But there's a lot of things that need to be addressed here and we'll kind of dissect it. So we'll start off, though, as we always do, with the starting lineup. So this is based on my thoughts of when I seen the initial lineup, how I felt then, not obviously how I feel now because that's different. So we started with Brad Knighton in goal, back 4 from left to right of Castillo, Mancien, Delamea and Brandon Bibe. Then in front of them we had a 3 of Pena, Zahibo and Casado. Then in front of those 2 we had Colasil, Teal Bunbury and Diego Fundungues. So, in terms of the lineup, I mean, There's part of me that I've been saying that Brad Knighton, hasn't really done anything to lose the shirt at the moment. It's his shirt to lose and he hasn't done anything. And I will still stand by that statement because I honestly don't think that if you look at all of the Revolution goals, there's a lot of the cases where he shouldn't be put in that situation and, could other goalkeepers have done better? Maybe on 1 or 2, but I don't really think he's massively at fault for any of the goals that, his positioning's been okay. his distribution still needs work, although I did see actually an improvement in the Cincinnati game. I would say that was one of the only positives I did see, is that some of Brad Knighton's distribution, although albeit his decision to distribute it long a lot of time was wrong, but his actual, distribution was better. But then on the flip side, I actually started asking myself the question of, okay, so yes, Brad Knighton probably hasn't done anything to lose the shirt at the moment, but at the same time, what has he actually done to keep the shirt? And I didn't really have an answer for that, so I'm thinking that maybe it is only 4 games into the season, and I understand that, and people are calling for Brad to be sacked, which again I think is I'm obviously, we're all frustrated at the moment, and I think some people are saying things in the heat of the moment, but it's not just 4 games. It is the back end of last season as well. We've got to take that into account, that it's been a continuation of a shit show basically, and it's just accumulated into one of the most embarrassing days as a Revolution fan. But for me, does Brad Knighton keep his shirt? I think it's probably a little bit too hasty, but at the same time, what are we going to lose? One, I don't think he's done anything bad to lose the shirt, but at the same time, what has he done to keep the shirt? Maybe we give Cody a shot in goal. And I don't get what's happened to Matt Turner. Like, I think if anybody who does listen to my podcast and that does actually go to the press conferences and actually has a chance to speak to Brad, can we just, I know you probably won't answer, but could we please just pose the question? Because I don't understand how 12 months ago he was number 1 and potential, men's national team call-up. People were touting his name around in that bracket, to now 3rd choice. I don't get it. So, and I do think as fans we deserve at least an explanation. Is there something more than we know that's happening behind the scenes? Is there something that's happened, or is it just purely that he is 3rd choice, that Brad Friedel sees Knighton and Cropper as better choices than him? For one, I can't see it, but then I'm not with them all the time. The back line, for me at the moment, I think Andy Barbar, he's got to be getting in there now for me. As much as I love Delamea, he didn't look the best. He's a little bit too hot-headed sometimes, and I don't know. I think just trying him and Mance, because to be fair, Andy Barbar had a good first game of the season. I think he had a really good start, and I think now it's probably about time to maybe just shake it up. To be perfectly honest, I'm neither here nor there which one gets dropped, Mancien or Delamea. I think it would be Delamea for the fact that Mancien's obviously the captain. Then wing-backs, we've got obviously Castillo on the left-hand side, and still to this day, I've been banging on about it since pre-season, I still don't get his worth in the team. I honestly don't know what he's offering, anything different from, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and I did put it out on Twitter the other day, but what is different between him and Somi? I don't get it. I don't think, and I actually think, if I'm going to be brutally honest here, Somi probably offers me as a little bit more of the attacking third. I haven't seen a defensively solid performance from him at all yet. He's constantly caught out of position, and I don't get how, if we're saying that Brandon buys a liability at right back, how we can not be saying in the same sentence that also is Ed Castillo, because they're both as bad as each other. Brandon Boy, at least you've got a little bit of an argument saying, he's a young, it's his second season. Yes, he got minutes last season, but he's still young. Not using it as an excuse, but at least you've got that kind of little bit of an argument. So Castillo was a decent left back last season. Yeah, he had a very good season in it. A pretty poor team. Well, I wouldn't say poor team, so it's a bad choice of words, but an average team. We're an average team, but yeah, the performances aren't there. So I'm honestly thinking that it's hard because at the moment Andrew Farrell's not fully back from his eye injury. Although obviously it was positive that he made the bench last time round. I don't know how far away he is from actually making the 11 though. So the other option there is obviously Jones, who did come on obviously towards the back end of the game. I think like the 78th minute somewhere on there, and he actually looked pretty good. I know obviously it's a very short cameo. You can't really see much of him. It wasn't tested as much obviously throughout the game. the game was pretty much done and dusted. Then I think we were trying to attack it, but yeah, I don't. I think it's a little bit too early for him to go in there. That's not his natural position. I don't know if it's a big ask from him. I mean, it is a home game again, so hopefully we'll have a few more than 9,000 the next game. Although I don't know, as a Revolution fan, why you'd want to go to the Gillette Stadium at the moment, but hopefully we can get at least a couple of 10,000. I was kind of hoping 15, but I don't think that's gonna sit well with many fans. But, I think he looked okay. I think he did actually slot in okay. But I don't think he's the answer. But at the same time, is Brandon Boyle the answer? At the moment, he's not really done much to solidify his place. He was kind of hoping that with this injury to Farrell, that Brandon Boyle would have took this opportunity and just really staked his name for this place and made it really hard for Andrew Farrell to get back into the 11. But now it's almost like as soon as he's fully fit, just get him back into that 11 because. And this is coming from somebody who's not even that much of an Andrew Farrell fan. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a bad football player, or soccer player, sorry, but he wouldn't be my first choice right back if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Well, I don't think he'd be many people's first choice right back, would he? But he's definitely above Brandon Boyle at the moment in my estimation. So for me, as I said, I'm not really convinced on either of those two. At the moment, in front of them, we've then got Big Wilf. I suppose he was kind of like a diamond, maybe you'd say. So it's a 4-4-2 diamond, maybe at some points as well. It was, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I didn't actually watch the full game, unfortunately, because I couldn't actually watch the full game, so I did only watch. I was watching it kind of in and out because. The kind of way I have to watch it, I have to watch it through my tablet, and the time over here sometimes it's family time, so I can't be just seeing when we're having family time and sitting down together that I'm watching football because that's rather rude and setting a very bad example. So yeah, but I'll probably say I caught about 60 minutes of the game in total. So yeah, I did catch a big chunk of the game, and yeah, Wilf for me. It's annoying. He's very annoying because at some parts of the game you can see. Not the Cincinnati game. He was terrible in the Cincinnati game. But in other games you see him sometimes and I think, he's actually a decent player. This could be the guy. And then other times I'm thinking, how are you in the 11? How have you made it into this 11? Because he's just shot. The Cincinnati game was a really really poor game from him. He just seems to drift in the wrong position sometimes. He's always caught almost opposite to where he should be sometimes. And it's like, how can you be that bad at positioning as a defensive midfielder? I don't understand it. It's almost like he's running away from the situation. I can understand sometimes maybe he's seeing something and thinking, this player's going to jog it. You can see a runner coming in, so he's thinking, I need to fill this gap here because he's got a free run there. So I can understand that sometimes, but other times I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, what are you doing? What is in your head thinking that the position you're in the pitch now is the right position for you to be in as a shield in front of that back four? It just boggles me, and I want him to be good because I think, as I said, the sometimes I watch him, I think, this lad's, it's clicked, it's finally clicked, he knows what he's doing, but 5 minutes later he'll be jogging back at 1 mile an hour and over, the other wrong side of the pitch, and I'm thinking, how's this lad's? I don't get it. He's annoying. We then had Luis Castelo as well. I think it was an okay match. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd probably say he was the best of the. Well, no, other than Carlos Hill, maybe he was the second best player on the pitch. Still had a bad game. Wouldn't say he's. But I think at least he was trying to do stuff. He was actually trying, and one of very few players who actually did put a bit of emphasis on getting the ball back and trying to actually make something happen. So I definitely think he's still not maybe 100% there from pre-season. That injury maybe still playing on his mind, but I think we're still see the best from Luis Castelo. Not really too concerned with him at the moment. Christian Pinilla now for me. I mean, obviously you started him, as I kept saying, he started on the right. That was given an option, and I think had a little success. It was nice to see, but he's just completely devoid of any confidence at the moment. If I'm going to be perfectly honest with Christian Pinilla, I think his confidence is low. I think the fact that he doesn't speak, can't really speak to many people isn't massive. I reckon a lot gets lost in translation, and also he looks so unhappy, almost like he doesn't want to be here. It was almost like he had a really good performance for the Revolution, and I think he really enjoyed that first season with us. It was almost like he in the back of his mind, he was like, I'm going to, play my heart out for this team, and I don't think it was probably done with the intention for us to buy. I think maybe it was done as a catalyst for another team to think, this lad's got something here. Let's put an offer in for him. So I don't know how happy he is at New England at the moment. So I'm not too sure. I don't know. I could be reading into this far too much, but I don't personally think he's happy at the Revolution at the moment. And I don't know if we're going to actually see the Christian Pinilla that we've seen last season. And if we don't, it's going to be a massive loss to it, because obviously I reckon a lot of stuff we were working on is built around what he can bring to the team, because he was a huge part of last season. Without him last season, I don't know where we would have ended up. So, well, I do know where we ended up, where we are now, because we're practically playing without him now. We're not playing with the 2018 Christian Pinilla. We're playing with an absolute shadow of a player. So, yeah, something needs to happen with him, and it needs to happen quick, because if he doesn't start performing, then we'll move on to Carlos Hill now. Then it's already adamant that a lot is falling on his shoulders, and he's getting frustrated. You can see his frustration in the game, because not even just blaming things on the referees here, because obviously I can see sometimes he's getting frustrated with the officiating over here, which sometimes, to be perfectly honest, I've got to admit it is absolutely shocking, and I don't think I'm I'm on my own of that thought. But it is so hard for him to carry a team, and again, I don't think he didn't have a great game at all. I think he had an okay game, but he was one of the only players, him and Casado, really, that were actually trying to get anything started, to just try and get us to do something. And at times you could see he was holding on the ball for too long, because it almost like he didn't trust passing the ball. The only person I feel like he felt comfortable was Diego. I feel like he was the only person he felt comfortable at times of passing into. There was times when I kept thinking, you're on the ball too much here, but I honestly thought it was because in his head he was like, I've got to do it myself, because literally no one else is helping me out here. It is 1 versus 11. Literally no one is willing to fight. There was one moment which stood out to me, that I think it was either just before or just after Jones came on, but the ball went out of play. We were 2-0 down at this point, and just trying to get anything for the game, and the ball went out of play, and literally Brad Friedel was on the sidelines, just going crack, trying to get the ball back in play as quick as could, don't time waste. Which I thought was great from Brad. That's exactly kind of he shouldn't really be in that situation, but that was good that he had that in him. And then it happened again a few minutes later, and honestly, I can't remember where Brad was, but nobody from the Revolution bench did anything. They were just all sat there, glum faces. Yes, you're having a bad day, but think about all of the fans you're getting paid to have a shit day. Think about all of the fans who've paid to watch you have a shit day. They have paid to come into this ground to watch you perform and then not care about it. Show some fucking grit, show some determination, and play for that shirt on your back. It is ridiculous. It was an absolute shit show. I haven't even finished yet. The fucking lineup, and I've already. But it was so embarrassing. How can you not want to give it 110% or 100%, whatever you want to say, every time you're pulling that shirt on? How can you not be? Yes, if things start going wrong, then your morale might drop. But come on, for God's sake, put it together, boys. I mean, we're going to move on to Teal Bunbury. Oh, actually, no, we'll do Diego first, because I've just touched him shortly. Again, I thought he was kept quiet. We're not seeing the Diego that we know we can see sometimes. It wasn't a strong game from him. Obviously, it was again, he didn't really create much. I do think he was times when he looked to create things. He did look to try and start stuff happening, but it just wasn't working. And I think a lot of this is down to, unfortunately, Teal Bunbury, because he had an absolute. I mean, if we thought Wagadello's performance in the first 2 games was bad, oh my God! I honestly don't. I'm not going to lie here, but there was actually. I think his passing was actually quite good. I think during the game, I think his actual passing accurate, his pass accuracy was actually not too bad. Probably based on the fact that maybe he did like 4 passes or whatever. But there was actually a time when I genuinely forgot that Till Bunbury was even on the pitch. I honestly think there was about a good 10 minutes of game when I don't think he touched the ball and I didn't see him trying to get involved. So obviously everything can't go on him because if the ball isn't being played into him, as a striker when you're not being fed, obviously it's hard to impact the game and you find yourself dropping deep, and then if no one's running in behind you, there's no one to aim for, and it's just a catalyst of shit. But it was a bad performance from Till Bunbury, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't good. And obviously, it was nice to see Casado get out on the pitch. But from the substitutions that came on, the 3, obviously we had Scotty come on. He came on around, 55th minute, something like that, for Zahibo. I think he had a good game again. I think you kind of expect, you're not going to think too fancy from Scotty, but he'll come on, he'll run around and he'll try his heart, he'll play for the shirt. He loves the shirt, and I think that's one thing that I like about him. But I still wouldn't say it was a great performance, but Casado, again, it was too short to kind of get a full feel on him, and the fact that he was pretty much playing with next to no delivery into him wasn't the best, but hopefully, fingers crossed, if we get to see a full 90 minutes out of him, we'll actually finally be able to make a decision. Because I still can't tell. At the moment, I'm leaning more towards it's going to be a flop, but I still honestly can't tell. And we would have touched on Don Jones. I think actually was pretty, out of the 3 substitutes, I think he was the best out of the 3. I think he was the most impressive. But overall, just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I think possession-wise, I think it was quite even across the board. I think it was pretty evenly split. And people were saying, that but we did create chances. Yeah, I think we did. I think we did actually probably try and create more than what Cincinnati did. But when only 2 of them are on target, what's the point? You can try and create as much as you want, but when you can only actually get 2 shots to make the goalkeeper work in 90 minutes, it is almost like what's the point? What is the actual point? Just an absolute embarrassment, and I honestly can't believe it. So that'll kind of wrap up the Cincinnati things. I could ramble on forever, but I'm kind of probably going to coming back to it in this part. So we're going to talk about obviously news that's coming out of the Revolution camp. I wouldn't really say there's anything else to look forward to at the moment, is there really? So obviously we've had Rennick's and now Buchanan's injury as well. So Buchanan was put out on injury with I think something that happened is a previous injury that's kind of come back to life, as some might say, or something's happened and it's aggravated an old injury. So he might be out for some length of time, which is for me is really disappointing because I thought I know he's not going to start, probably won't start at all this season, but I think as a bench piece, as a depth player coming off the bench, I think he could have been something good for us this season. Justin Rennicks obviously was weighing an international duty, picked up an injury, or Chris Rennicks as some might call him. Picked up an injury, great news. So he's going to be out for a few weeks as well. Another player again who probably may have actually had a few more starts this season, especially off the back of these performances. Is now unfortunately can't be picked. We had then obviously Ankin as well. So 3 of our young players that we were all looking forward to seeing this season are now all injured, which is great. The future of the Revolution all gone in one matter of a week. Hopefully, obviously, they'll all come back, speedy recovery, and I hope that it all goes well with those, and we can see him, in a few weeks' time, chomping at a bit to get back into this Revolution side. Because for God's sake, we need them at the moment, which is a ridiculous thing to say that we need this youth, but we need this injection of someone to just try and do something on the pitch. The news, obviously, Scotty Caldwell, literally not even moments ago, has signed a contract extension with the Revolution as well. I don't know, obviously Scott Caldwell's not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. I get it. He's not the prettiest football player, as in on the ball and stuff, He's not Pirlo. But, I mean, I think it's hard not to like him. How can you not like him? I'm a massive Scott Caldwell fan. as a human being. I think he's a great human being, and I do think he's a good footballer. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy to have Scotty. I think Scott should just play his whole career out with us now. I honestly think that he should just play his whole career out with us. I mean, obviously, minutes may dwindle eventually, but you know what? Just keep him on there. Also, obviously, the fact that Brad Friedel held a closed door meeting after obviously the embarrassing loss. Actually, before we get to that, the halftime team talk that Brad said, that's really got me angry. The fact that he said obviously it was nothing that he worked on, which I understand. Obviously, if it's not what you've worked on during that, that's great. But it just why is he quick to go to throwing his team under the bus every single time? That's his go-to straight away. Team's fault, not mine. I told them to kick the ball and score a goal. They didn't do it. What else do you want me to do? You're the manager. It is up to you to manage them as players to get them to perform. Now, I think he's doing the right thing. He's held this meeting by closed doors, whatever it was, to get them back in line. But how is it 4 games in and we're already here? How? Something is not right. How can we be this dysfunctional this early on into a season? It's 4 fucking games. 4 games in. I don't know. So I'm kind of glad that this has happened. Well, no, I'm not glad it's happened. I'm glad he's addressing it, whichever means you don't need to kind of tell us that you're doing, closed doors. It's always behind closed doors. How else is a meeting not behind closed doors? It's not. You're not going to do it in a parking lot, are you? Like, I don't understand. But it's great they're addressing it, but we just need we need to see improvements, and we're going to be looking forward to the Minnesota game shortly. But it's this game is massive. As I've said before, not from a results point of view. If we go on and we lose the game 1-0 or whatever again, 2-0, 3-0, but we actually put in a really good performance, and you can see, it's just been a really spectacular display from their defence, or their goalkeeper's been on fire. We just couldn't break the deadlock, but we've done everything we could as a team to get to that position. I mean, realistically, we need a good performance and we need a clean sheet. That's what we need. Something we need both of those. But we definitely need one of those, or either or. So even if we get a clean sheet and it's not the best performance, but it's better, then I'll take that. If it's not a clean sheet, but we've put in a really solid performance, again, I will take that. If it's anything other than that, then I don't know. The next podcast is going to be an absolute mess. We obviously also had another tease that the DP signing, obviously it's not coming now till May, June time because of the player club that he currently plays for. I think we're basically trying to get him on a free, and the situation of the club. So we'll be looking at basically relegation teams that Friedel has played for before. So I'm thinking, I thought Pritchard, but I've now been informed that I think he's signed a contract extension. So Pritchard's currently at Alex Pritchard at Huddersfield. We then had Aaron Lennon at Burnley. We then got Jake Livermore and Tom Huddleston. I'm not really too sure there's going to be any Villa players. I can't think. There's a Bonglahor, but he's not been training. He's not played for a year. So I don't think it would be him. And I don't think that's an exciting player. I think Aaron Lennon would be a pretty exciting player. Huddleston and Livermore, they're both England's international players. So yeah, I get that as well. Huddleston and Livermore are 2 of very similar players, I'd probably say. I'd probably say Livermore's the more mobile player. He's got a bit more pace about him. Both good holding players. I'd probably take Livermore over Huddersfield if I'm going to be perfect. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, and I think they fill the void in the team that we need. But Aaron Lennon, and again, I mentioned this earlier on Twitter. This is no disrespect to MLS at all. I don't think Aaron Lennon is he's not a top quality Premier League player anymore, but I think he would do really, really well in the MLS. I honestly think he would do almost a level that he could be the next Bradley Wright Phillips, So who knows? But at the same time, there's also part of me that thinks I don't want the Revolution to buy him because there's also rumours that he may go to Leeds. So who knows? And obviously, I'm also a Leeds United fan as well. So if he does go to Leeds, but at the same time, if he goes to Leeds, I don't know if he gets in that team at the moment because we've got Hernandez one side. I suppose we're not going to have Jack Harrison because he's only on loan for the season, so I suppose he'd potentially fill that gap. But yeah, it's, I don't know. There's other people as well. Obviously, there's James Milner, there's Ashley Young from his Villa days that potentially it could be. They're the only two other ones that I could think of. Maybe Mark Albrighton, but I don't know. I don't think he's on that kind of. He's playing for Leicester City at the moment. He's in and out of that squad. I don't think he's kind of looking to probably move. I don't think James Milner probably is. Ashley Young, I'm not 100% sure what his thoughts are at the moment. So, but yeah, I'm not too sure. So he's basically mentioned that it's coming not anytime soon. It's from a team. Well, it's basically no. It doesn't say. He didn't say a team actually. He said it's from. I think his words are something like he's been friends with him for a long time. So we're all thinking it's from a previous club he's played for. So that's kind of. I don't think it'll be Liverpool because I don't know if there's anyone around from his Liverpool days that are still not retired. So yeah, it's probably going to be Villa or most likely Tottenham, I'd probably say. So yeah, but then there was also a bit that made us think that maybe it's a team that's in a relegation battle. So that's then what led me to think maybe Aaron Lennon or it could be a championship team maybe that are pushing for promotion. You don't know. So yeah, other than that, I don't really think there's actually much else to talk about in terms of Revolution news. Obviously, there's the whole third yellow card thing that's happening, but I've not really read up much of that to kind of talk on that at the moment. But I know it's been touted around. But other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much it on the Revolution news. So when I look forward to the Minnesota game and talk about my predictions there and how I think we should line up and the prediction for this score as well. So Minnesota at home, as I said, I think it is a performance, not a must-win game, as much as I want to call it a must-win game. I think we just need to have a really solid performance in this match. Anything other than that, I think it's just going to be, I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. But for me, I'd like us to line up in that diamond formation, if I'm going to be honest. I think that diamond formation works well. If we're not getting the best out of Christian Pini at the moment, then bring him on towards the end of the game and maybe he can inject some life into the game, who knows. But that formation suits the players that are performing at the moment, in my opinion. I think that's how we should look at it. That the last time that we performed okay, we played that formation. So, maybe we'll go with that again. So what I'd like to see was I'd like to see Cody Cropper. Well, either Matt Turner or Cody Cropper in goal. I think it'd be Cody to get the nod above Matt. That would make sense as he's on the bench at the moment. So changing goal, as I said, left back. I don't know if I'm perfectly honest. Something happened actually in social media where I think Somi tweeted what a joke at the time Revolution were playing, and I think he got conceded that he was talking about the Revolution, but we don't know because obviously he was away on international duty at the time. So I don't know what's happened with that. I don't know if any investigation been done. We need Castillo to start performing, but I'm going to start with Castillo again. I can't name Somi at the moment, but honestly, I'm not that far away from naming it at the moment. I then think it should be Kasomi left back. Kasomi, mixed the two players there. Castillo left back. Michael Mancien and then Andy Barbar next to him. And then Andrew Farrell if he's back fit, but if not, it's probably going to have to be Brandon Bye again. And then in front of that, we're going to have Luis Caicedo starting as the defensive midfield player and in the diamond. And in front of him, I'm going to have Scott Calderwell and Diego Fundungues. And then I'm going to have Carlos Heel in his number 10 spot. And then out on the wings, we're going to have... Well, no, it's not really out on the wings, is it? Sorry. As the striking two, I'm going to have the two Juans. I'm going to have Agudelo and Juan Castillo up. Juan Castillo? Yeah, that's right, yes. No, it's not. Oh my word, this illness is killing me. I've honestly had to pause so many times during this recording already. Let's start again, shall we, boys and girls? My starting lineup for the game of New England Revolution playing Minnesota is a change of goalkeeper, probably going to be Cody Cropper, because obviously that makes sense, but I would take Ira Lome at the moment. Left back, we're going to start with Edgar Castillo, although I'm not too far off starting Somi at the moment. We'll then have Mancien and Ali Barbar. Brandon Bai starting right back if Farrell is still not fully fit. In the defensive midfield spot, we're going to start with Luis Caicedo. In front of him, we're going to have Scotty Caldwell and Diego Fundungues. And then as the number 10 spot, we're going to have Carlos Gil. Up top, we're going to start with the two Juans, Juan Agudelo and Juan Caicedo. And I think that will do nicely. I know that everyone's probably thinking, why are you naming Juan Agudelo? But I think them two Juans need a chance to perform together. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to do that because Teal had such a bad game last time round. Score predictions. I am going to go with a 0-0 draw. 0-0 draw. A 0-0 draw and a good performance from the Revolution. Here I'm going to be honest. That's where I think it's going to be. Hopefully it'll be a sneaky win. But a 0-0 draw and a solid performance, I'll happily take that all day long at the moment. Because we need to start taking stepping stones. We can't jump and think we're going to win 5-0 or anything like that. We just need to take these little stepping stones first of all. So, but anyway, guys, pretty much that wraps up today's episode. I've rambled for far too long in today's episode, as always. So I do apologise for this 35-7 minute, however long it is, episode. But hopefully you've enjoyed bits of it. Hopefully I've managed to edit out all of the coughing and all the horribleness that's ensued. And hopefully you're still a Revolution fan at the end of this and we can stick together. As I've always said, the thing that keeps me as a Revolution fan is always the fan base, because all of you out there are absolute legends. So that wraps up today's episode, guys. If you have enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that kind of good stuff. And I will catch you next week for the next one.